So was Tannis always a Siren, or did she just stumble upon her powers magically? What's going on, everyone? My name is Cynic, and today we're going to be discussing how Tannis, a scientist that once worked for the Atlas Corporation that was abandoned on the planet of Pandora, ended up inheriting Siren powers. Now, before we can create a solid theory or even understand Tannis and her newfound powers, we must get a very good understanding of the Sirens themselves and how they work inside the Borderlands lore. So from Borderlands 2, we know that at any given time, there's a total of 6 Sirens in the universe. We also know that Sirens can actually be born with their powers.
I just realized you grunts are going to get yourselves killed without this little tidbit. All Sirens are born with different crazy-ass powers. You cannot, I repeat, cannot win a fight with them in one-on-one combat. Oh yeah, and since you shiverbrains evidently don't know how to listen, I'll say it again. Stop bringing in fake Sirens. Only 6 Sirens can exist in the universe at any given time, and I already know of 3. You're not going to convince me you happen to find one of the remaining 3 just by drawing blue tattoos on some random chick's corpse. No, I will admit it was mildly amusing the first dozen times you idiots tried it, but now my office smells like blood and marker fumes. So quit it!
So as you heard from those Handsome Jack audio logs that you're able to collect back in Borderlands 2 through a side mission, there's a total of 3 Sirens that Handsome Jack is aware of, and those are the 3 Sirens that were given back in Borderlands 2. Those of course being Lilith, Maya, and Angel, Handsome Jack's daughter. So at the very end of Borderlands 2, we know of 2 remaining Sirens after the death of Angel, which are Lilith and Maya. Moving into Borderlands 3, we now have a total of 5 Sirens, which are Lilith, Maya, Amara, Tyreen, and Tannis herself, later to be revealed in the story as a big reveal. And no, technically speaking, Troy is not a Siren. He's more of a subset of Tyreen's powers, which is very interesting how that worked out. We'll talk more about that in another video. But moving on, as we know, each one of these Sirens have their own unique powers. We have Phase Walk, which are Lilith, although after she loses her powers to the Calypso twins, we see her teleportation being abused more than anything else. We have Phase Lock, which are Maya's powers, Phase Trance, which are Amara's, Phase Leech, which are Tyreen's, and then of course Phase Shift, which is Tannis's. And if you guys remember correctly, back in Borderlands 2, that was actually what Angel was able to do. Now around the universe of Borderlands 3, there's Iridian logs that you can run around and collect. Unfortunately, you can't do this until after you complete the main story. That's when you get the little tool to decipher all of these. But these Iridian logs have all kinds of information about the history of Pandora, on the history of Sirens, so on and so forth. Now through hearing these logs, we learn that upon death, a Siren has one of 2 choices.
To inherit a Siren's gift is also to inherit her curse. This is the choice of a Siren presented with death. Pass on the gift and burden someone worthy, or release it and burden an unknown soul who has no idea that the entire universe is about to want them dead.
So as we just seen, upon death, a Siren is granted 2 choices. They can either let fate decide who's going to inherit their powers, or they can choose who's going to be quote-unquote cursed, since being a Siren is to ultimately be cursed. Now, from this we can assume a couple things. One of the biggest things here being that no matter what, the host of the Siren powers will always change, but the powers themselves are constant. They'll always be the same. So we'll always see a phase shift, a phase lock, a phase leech, a phase trance, so on and so forth. And the reason why I say this is because we have 2 prime examples of that actually happening. One being with Ava inheriting Maya's phase locking abilities, while the other being Tannis inheriting Angel's phase shifting abilities. They're the exact same powers that their predecessors have. And to another degree, Tyreen and her phase leeching abilities, which was the powers of Nereid, or the very first Siren the universe has ever seen. Now just with the small amount of information that we gathered so far, one can assume that upon death, Angel actually chose Tannis specifically to inherit her phase shifting abilities. But I also have an alternate theory on how this possibly came about. You see, because even though it's a good theory to say that Tannis was outright specifically chosen by Angel to receive her powers, the only flaw that I find in this is I don't recall any specific communication between the 2 of them in Borderlands 2. I don't even recall them communicating over echo devices. I could be mistaken, but if that's the case, there really was no solid relationship built between the 2 for Angel to really say, this is who I want to be my successor, unless she was aware of Tannis's huge amount of knowledge on the Vault Key and the vaults themselves. Then that would make a little bit more sense. Now the other theory I propose is brought to us directly from the side mission called the Childhood's End. This is a side mission that's available to us once Tannis' lab is accessible in Conrad's hold. In this we learned that Sirens can imprint memories onto physical objects and that it's not always a conscious effort. So with the knowledge that Sirens can imprint their memories onto physical objects, as well as upon death they can actually choose who gets their powers, one can drum up one of 2 possible theories. The first one we just said was Angel specifically choosing Tannis to accept her powers, the other one point being, through messing with Angel's old artifacts, Tannis may have triggered a traumatic memory so powerful that it actually transferred her powers from that object to Tannis, which I would claim was actually the Vault Key, since the Vault Key was the very last thing Angel had before she passed away. Now, personally saying any of these objects, especially the Vault Key being imbued with her powers, I wouldn't say is too far of a stretch, especially since through this side mission we also learned that some of these memories imprinted on these objects can be so powerful that they can actually reanimate certain objects. Case in point, the turret that tries to kill you during that side mission.
Mommy, Daddy, help!
Look, you filthy bandit, just give us back our daughter, okay?
Are you kidding? She's a freaking siren. I'm gonna be a trillionaire. You and your wife get out of here before I stick my turrets on you. Forget the kid. Go make another one.
No, I want to go home!
Shut up, kid, or I'll... Hey, what the...
I want to go home!
Get down! No! No!
I mean, a little out there since it's not exactly confirmed that they can imprint their powers on physical objects, but I don't know, still an interesting theory nonetheless. But you guys have it, that's how Tannis ended up inheriting Angel's phase-shifting abilities. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Which one is your favorite theory? Or even if you have another theory yourself, by all means, feel free to share that stuff down in the comment section below. Let's start a conversation. But like always, guys, my name is Cynic. Thank you all so much for watching. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it or find it interesting. If you did so, do me a huge favor, drop a like as well as subscribe. And if you guys would love to see one of these done on how Tyreen and Troy work, because Troy is a very special case, or in his words, a freak. But until next time, my friends, I will see you all later.